Hello my dear friends, best greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. My name is Viktor Fursov, I'm a research entomologist, beekeeper and teacher. Entomologist means scientist who is studying insects. And also there are some amateurs who are not professionals, who are interested and who is loving insects. But I'm professional, I'm working as a research scientist at the Institute of Zoology of National Academy of Sciences in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. So I can talk about insects for hours, for ages. And today we will be talking about insects, about predaceous insects as bees and hornets, wasps. Bees can be predaceous, some of them phytophagous, but some can be hunting even for some for meat in tropical areas. It's possible. But also predaceous are wasps. And wasps were solitary wasps and were social wasps. Today we will be talking about social wasps. And let's start from the beginning, from the bee. The most important and most valuable bee from human point of view, this is a honeybee, because beekeeping, this is an industry which is served for humans for ages, and these are beehives, special houses for bee colonies. And I am in apiary of Vasil Priyatelenko, Ukrainian beekeeper. I was talking about his beehive in my previous videos. So here I am visiting apiary and explaining the structure of beehive, which is very special because Vasil Priyatelenko, Ukrainian beekeeper, he changed the structure of honey beehive frames. You see on the left side open chamber, open story with frames, and frames are changed, modified, and they are more efficient, more productive, and more useful for healthy life of honeybees in this type of beehive, which consists either one chamber or two chambers, or full beehive consists 3 chambers. But this was a separate video about it with special explanation, because today we will be talking mostly about hornets. Maybe you don't like hornets if you are a beekeeper, because you have seen hornets near beehives, and hornets were hunting for honeybees. Yes, we can hunt for honeybees, that's for sure, that's true. But this opportunity depends from many circumstances, from the searching for food, from the weather, from the temperature, from the location of this nest, location of colony of hornets. And this is a colony of European hornet, in Latin name Vespa crabro. Vespa crabro. This is a part of colony, open nest, because I'm showing this part of colony just in plastic chamber, just in artificial conditions for sure. It's not covered with glass, no, it's open chamber. I open plastic lid, and I was taking video carefully because I gave them some drops of honey to make them busy, to stop the activity. So that's why, and to receive better quality picture during recording. So there I'm not recording video through the plastic chamber or through a glass lid, just directly. But you see, they are not so active, they're a little bit careful about flight, because they are young. These workers, these are many workers, and they're venomous, so they can sting. So we must be very careful about this observation. But they're pretty young, so they're not very active, because the surface, the heating surfaces have not been hardening to enough, and even their wings were pretty soft, so they're not so active in flight. Couple days, 1-2 days, were more or less quiet and calm. That's a good time for recording video, and later we will hardening, they will change their color, they will be very strongly brown, yellow, and they will fly very well even in closed chamber. So for that kind of recording, you must be very careful about them. But it's quite easy to feed them with drops of honey, so they love it very much, or with drops of juice, like apple juice. And you see here, they are sitting on their nest, part of the nest, so just one piece of their nest, open one, because I used to work as a wasp hunter, so I just removed one nest from the attic of one of my friends. And so I brought these pieces, these layers with cocoons and with all these cellulose cells just to home inside plastic cage for recording some notes on behavior. And you see here also quite visible that some after feeding, all these wasps, all these hornets, they're exchanging with their food. We use honey as a meal, and after feeding they exchange the liquid from their stomach between them and opening mandibles and exchanging the liquid between different individuals. So this is very common behavior for social wasps, for ants, even for bumblebees, and for sure for honeybees, when some individuals exchanging with their meal, to be precisely with the liquid from their stomach, like nectar or honey. And this process is called trophallaxis, exchanging by food. In this case, it's developing their social activity, and exchange the food helps them to communicate. And you see on the left upper angle, there are some open cells. These are open cells, open cocoons, because several individuals just hatched, just emerged from cocoons, and they're just crawling here around. This nest was collected in late August, so in this time already some drones or males are appearing in the nest. So that's why it may be later some males will be coming on the screen as well. Males are helpless, so they do not sting, but these are workers more active and a little bit more aggressive, because they can sting for instinctively expressing their aggression as an instinct, because they are near their nest and they have instinct for protection of their nest. So that's why do not disturb hornets if you found their nest, so because they will protect it, because this is their instinct for nest protection, and definitely they will sting. They have a sting on the top of the abdomen, inside the abdomen, and they will extend it and will search for the aggressor, like human being or beekeeper, or just crazy person who will be looking inside the nest and can sting. So that's why be careful about hornets. Do not open the nest without any special reason, like this removal, or even if you are making a removal, you need to use special beekeeping equipment for self-protection. I will show you later how it's possible to use equipment for removal of hornets. So I will show you Wasp Hunter in my latest video. So this protection of Wasp Hunter is very sophisticated and very strong, good enough for protection against all hornets, even the biggest one. And here I show you another, so you have recognized the coloration is brown, black and yellow of this European hornet, Vespa crabra in Latin name. And this is layers, separate parts from the big nest. And here I show you very small fly, which is sitting inside the nest. And she's searching for food as well. searching for food like drops of honey, but also for food as larvae of hornets, because this is predaceous fly of a family Phoridae fly, and she is very small, about a little bit bigger than Drosophila fly, so about 3 mm size, but she is predaceous, so not itself, because predaceous larvae which are feeding on poison, on just deceased or died larvae of hornets or other insects, or larvae of other insects, or just on the body of dead insects as well. If some hornets died and their body will be inside, this predaceous or saprophagous fly of a family Phoridae will lay eggs on larvae of hornets or on the body of adults of hornets, and larvae will be eating it, feeding on the body of dead larva or dead adult of hornets. So cleaning in this case the area around. So partially predaceous, partially cleaner. Maybe can attack also just a living larva, I'm pretty sure as well, because larvae are very, very active, and these flies are very productive and very fastly running, so quite difficult to catch it, and can squeeze in the smallest crack between different plastic, between lid and between plastic cage. So it will come inside just from the window, from the balcony. If you keep it on the balcony, they feel very well smell, and so this tiny fly of Phoridae family will find her way into the culture of your insects. If some insects will be dying in your culture, larvae of this fly will be feeding on dying adults of insects. So if you keep beetles or larvae, or is here on larvae of these beautiful hornets. And of course, for sure, some larvae died because already these adults, they are not able to feed them. Some larvae in these cellulose cells are suffering from hunger, so they are hungry, but larvae are not feeding on this sugar, not on feeding on nectar or honey. Larvae need in food some meat, like collected some insects or meat of other invertebrates, and this food must be brought only by adults of hornets. And here I show you pinned individual of hornet, European hornet, and I will show you another hornet which is different from European, and the name of this hornet is small Asian hornet. This is a European hornet, Vespa crabro. You see coloration is brown, black and yellow, with open mandibles on the top. So open mandibles and tiny tongue between mandibles. Here all this is smaller, this is worker, and bigger one is a queen. So and this is a separate species. One separate species, blackish or fully black. This is small Asian hornet, and this again, these two individual small Asian hornet, Latin name Vespa velutina. The size is smaller, rather smaller than European hornet, and coloration is different, much darker. You see here, queen of European hornet, but workers of small Asian hornet. Still, more than half of body of European hornet is yellow, but most part of the body of small Asian hornet is black or blackish with little bit yellow top of abdomen. And you see a big one sting on the top of body, which is modified ovipositor, which became very strong sting for self-protection, for protection of a colony. So workers were sacrificing their life in protection for the sake of a life of a whole colony. You see yellow tip of abdomen down there, and mostly dark body of a small Asian hornet, which is invasive species, which is dangerous pest for beekeeping, for honeybees in Europe. Now, at the present time, more than already 9 years, they are spread all around France, and now they appeared already in Belgium, in northern Italy, in Spain, even when they came to Germany and United Kingdom, and probably they will be spread in other countries gradually. It depends from the temperature and human activity and logistics, because they're spreading sometimes with different cars, with trains, with different products. And here, this is a giant Asian hornet, which is different, Vespa mandarina. You see, this species is slightly bigger than European hornet in comparison, and form and shape of head is different, so head is bigger, so subquadrate shape, hairy, little bit darker thorax, and with such a line, such a bands on abdomen. And you see also pretty strong sting, which is modified ovipositor, which is dangerous because giant Asian hornet is a venomous insect, so can sting very painfully, and some people who have allergy and can receive the dose of the sting of a giant hornet can even die because of such circumstances. It depends on the place of sting. Sometimes it can follow to suffocation in some circumstances if sting will be just near the throat, in the head. So again, you see very strong sting on the top of the abdomen. And so this is giant hornet from Japan. I got it as a gift from my colleagues Hymenopterist, with open mandibles on the top here, two big mandibles. The behavior and is in general is similar for all hornets. They are making the same type of a colony, the same type of the nest as a ball from cellulose, but of course they have differences in biology, differences in life cycle, in preferences for their nest. European hornet prefer places in some hidden areas, like somewhere under the roof, in the attic, somewhere in the nest of rodents under the ground. And the same behavior of hidden nest is special for giant Asian hornet, which likes such a place for nest as a hidden place, somewhere usually under the ground, hidden place of some animals like rodents or other big animals, because the nest can be pretty big, about 30 centimeters in diameter. So not only small rodents, not mouses, but much bigger animals like foxes or other forester animals. And also we can make open nest on the branches of trees. But the small Asian hornet is very adaptive species and can build the nest in absolutely different and very variable places. On the tree, under the tree, on the top of tree, near the house, inside the house, under the attic, on the attic. So absolutely different places. And it gives for Vespa velutina, small Asian hornets, a great preferences to catch new territories, new places for life, and spread all around suitable environment. So that's why even smaller insects like Vespa velutina, but became very aggressive and became very easily spread all around Europe. Now, hopefully, still the place in Germany, not far away. And here you see the equipment which is used for careful for security, for removal of European hornets. So what is this? I was thinking this is a special equipment for underwater diving. No, I was explained that this was special equipment for military chemical protection. So heavy military equipment, after use, was stolen somewhere from the army. Fortunately, not in use, but well used for such purpose as removal of a hornet's nest. Here, hornet nest was found somewhere near the house under this wooden wall, and when wasps were just flying everywhere around and were pretty big, hornets were quite big, it's very irritating for hosts, for humans, and definitely sometimes it's easier to remove them rather to survive together with them. You see, this is a paper nest of a Vespa crabra, big nest which consists of several plates, several layers with white cells and with open cells. White cells, these are cocoons, and here was around 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 or 7 different layers. This is a very common structure of the nest, but open one because it was between wooden plates. And of course, it's not possible to remove it without special equipment like beekeeping equipment or this diving equipment. You see, there's in many cases hornets still not attacking very much because they're trying to hide inside the nest. Partially will be attacking, you see some larvae in broken places. And this wasp hunter is using just very simple equipment, which is called vacuum cleaner. Vacuum cleaner and good beekeeping equipment are quite helpful for hornets removal, but it still needs to be very careful, because it's rather safe if you have equipment, but without equipment it's very dangerous because hornets are stinging very painfully, so be careful about it. And after removal of all adults with vacuum cleaner, it will be easier to remove the nest, all these small pieces. And with vacuum cleaner, one by one, all adults can be easily removed because they are flying around but still coming back to the nest. The vacuum cleaner is just sucking adults inside, and inside there is a special plastic cage, and where they can be killed with some insecticide very easily. And in some cases the nest can be pretty big, so now we can see what is about the size. And also very important to use sleeves. Sleeves are very careful as well, because hornets can sting quite painfully. So this was a short video about how to get rid of hornets and just all wasps. For that you need to use special protection, special beekeeping jacket. So very careful, special gloves for protection of your hands, your palms, and of course special mesh for protection of your head and eyes from the stinging by hornets. So that's why if you are trying to remove hornets, be very careful. Don't do it without equipment because it's dangerous. Hornets can sting you very painfully. So don't forget that in some cases, if the hornets were living just outside of your house, outside somewhere in a forest, just do not disturb them. Do not disturb them, because they will not be, in general, even if they are living in a forest, more or less close to your apiary, it doesn't mean that they are hunting for all your bees, because approximately 90% of food, 90% of meal of European hornet consists of insects, just pests of agriculture and pests of forests, so they are not hunting presumably with preference on honeybees. So European hornet is not so aggressive for honeybees as it is small Asian hornet and giant Asian hornet. Giant Asian hornet is not found yet in Europe. In Europe there are 3 species at the present moment. Small Asian hornet, Vespa velutina invasive species, Vespa orientalis, this is Asian, and this is oriental hornet, which was found recently in Italy. And native species for Europe, this is European hornet, in Latin, Vespa crabra. So Vespa crabra in some countries considered to be even a rare species, living in a forest, and you don't need to disturb and just destroy the nest without special purpose. So better to leave them in their natural environment and do not disturb them, so they will survive and they will not attack you without any purpose if you do not disturb them yourself. So be careful about hornets. If you are interested in their behavior, just you can be very carefully studying them, or it's quite interesting to study their trophical relations, to study their meal, which insects they are collecting, what distance they are flying for, how they prefer different food, which chemicals can disturb them and which chemicals can be used to avoid them, so which chemicals they like and which chemicals they don't like, because it's possible to create some useful traps, or just traps like a pheromone traps to attract them or to distract them. To distract them, especially, for example, it can be useful to distract wasps or hornets from some public places as cafes, restaurants, or some food markets. So if you can find some useful chemicals to distract the presence of hornets or just wasps, it will be very useful discovery, very useful patented discovery, quite useful for publication and for receiving some money for patent, to make special traps or just traps which will distract hornets from such places, as I said, restaurants, cafes, food markets, fruits markets, meat markets, in some Asian countries where it's pretty hot, in tropical areas, or even some southern areas like Italy, Spain, with food markets and fruit markets in Turkey. It's quite useful to distract the presence of wasps around fruit markets and around gardens as well, and of course around beekeeping apiaries, beekeeping farms. So welcome to study hornets, welcome to study honeybees, welcome to study wasps. If you are interested in wasps, in honeybees, in insects, welcome to my channel. To be continued, a new series about life of hornets or life of honeybees, life of social wasps and solitary wasps will be coming on my channel as soon as possible. Welcome my channel daily news of daily of Ukrainian beekeeper, because I'm in Ukraine, for people who didn't know, who didn't follow my channel. So I'm in Ukraine, in Kiev, and for a difficult situation in Ukraine, but don't forget, we will win, and Ukraine forever. So if you are interested to support my channel, support Ukraine, welcome to be my patron. You can see link on my Patreon page. Welcome to join my membership of my channel. Press on bottom join, or just you can write message on my email for your private question. This is my email, so you can ask your question privately. So today we had a story about honeybees, about wasps. So, and next time we will be talking about collection, about different insects in collection. So welcome to my channel to continue our meetings and discussion about insects. Thank you for your interest. Write your comments and ask your questions. Thank you for your attention. See you soon on my channel. Bye bye. Good luck and see you soon on my channel as follower, as subscriber, and as patron. Thank you very much. Good luck, see you soon. Bye bye.